Representative and a longtime firefighter, Edward Wildberg. All right, now, first of all, I'd just like to say a couple personal words before I get into the campaign subject matter. I want to thank you all for what you did for me in Buchanan County in the year 2000, carrying this county for the Gore. And what yourselves in my position for a minute. I flew on Air Force 2 for 8 years. Now most times I have to take off my shoes to get on an airplane. I'll give you an example of what it's been like. Not long after Tipper and I left my job in the White House, we were driving from our home in Nashville to a little farm we have 50 miles out of town in Smith County, Tennessee. And we were driving along, driving ourselves. Sound like a little thing, but all of a sudden I looked in the rearview mirror and it just hit me. There was no motorcade back there. You've heard of phantom limb pain? This was a rented Ford Taurus. It was dinner time, so we started looking for a place to eat. We got off I-40 at the Lebanon, Tennessee exit and looked around, found a Shoney's restaurant, low-cost family restaurant chain. Walked in, sat down at the booth, and waitress came up and made a big commotion over Tipper. And she took our order and went to the couple in the next booth over, and she lowered her voice so much I had to really strain to hear what she said. Yes, that's former Vice President Al Gore and his wife Tipper. And the man said, he's come down a long way, hasn't he? Now, the very next day, true story, the very next day, I got on a private jet to fly over to Africa to make a speech over there in Nigeria, the city of Lagos. And when I made that speech, I told that story. I started by telling that story pretty much the way I told it to you. Shoney's low-cost family restaurant chain. Tipper and I were driving ourselves, and what the man said, and so forth. And then they laughed, and I made my speech and went back out to the airport to fly back to the U.S. And I fell asleep until we landed in the middle of the ocean on the Azores Islands in the middle of the night for refueling. And I woke up. They opened the door of that plane. I stuck my head out to get some fresh air, and I saw a man running across the runway, waving a sheet of paper and yelling, "Call Washington! Call Washington!" And I thought, middle of the night, middle of the Atlantic Ocean, what in the world could be wrong in Washington? Then I remembered it could be a bunch of things. But what it turned out, what it turned out to be was that a reporter in Nigeria had already written a story that had been picked up by the wire services and had already been printed all over the United States about the speech that I'd made there. And my staff was all upset because the story began. Former Vice President Al Gore announced in Nigeria yesterday, quote, "My wife Tipper and I have opened a low-cost family restaurant named Shoney's, and we are running it ourselves." And before I could get back to the U.S., old Jay Leno and David Letterman had already started in on me. They had me in a big white chef's hat. Tipper was yelling out orders, "One more burger with fries." 3 days later, I got a nice, long, handwritten letter from my friend and partner, Bill Clinton, saying, "Congratulations on the new restaurant." Incidentally, I talked to him on the phone a short while ago. He's doing great, and we're... And I think he and I did a damn good job over there. because